My name is Michael Macpherson. I'm here today to talk to you about natural-born hackers. I've been in IT and security for about 20 years, 14 of which was serving for the British military, specialising in surveillance, reconnaissance and secure communications. The remainder, I've been sort of network and security engineer, stroke specialist. And here we go. How would you feel if I told you that you and I are actually no different to this person portrayed on the screen? Now, I'm not saying that we're all criminals, and I'm certainly not saying that we're activists, but we share three fundamental human desires. What are those desires? For the security aware amongst you, you're probably freaking out thinking it's confidentiality, integrity and availability. But for the purpose of this presentation today, the three fundamental desires are actually curiosity, intelligence, and acceptance. What is curiosity? Well, in its basic form, curiosity is the desire to know what we don't yet know. Okay? It is a fundamental human desire. It drives us to be creative. It's what our thirst for knowledge comes from. You know, we strive to be curious. As a species, we have evolved because our ancestors were curious. If you imagine we're all on this piece of land here, and I've got some water there, some food there, and the tribal leader says to us, "Don't go this way. Cliff of doom." And he says, "Don't go this way. Death jungle." You're going to walk around, you're going to use all your water up, you're going to use all your food up, and then you're all going to be scratching your heads going, well, what do we do now? We've run out of food, we've run out of water. And then someone goes, "Do you know what? This has been bugging me for a while. I'm going to go off the cliff of doom." And he doesn't come back. And the rest of the tribe are probably scratching their heads going, "You probably shouldn't have done that. Let's go the jungle way instead." And it's because of that desire for curiosity, it actually helped us evolve. Where does curiosity come from? Well, Ken Robinson said in his TED talk that if you can light the spark of curiosity in a child, they will learn without any further assistance. And this is so true. If you watch how a child develops, they don't see 7 wonders in the world. They see 7 million. Everything to a child is fascinating. It could be a crumb on the floor. They're like, wow. And they're great hoovers as well. I've got 2 twins who are about 15 months old. We don't have to actually do any cleaning. But the thing is that we have to create that initial spark, and it helps us grow. I'd like you to take a minute just to think, what was it that created that spark of curiosity in you as a child? For me, it was when I was 5 years old and I found a screwdriver. Now, obviously, this isn't me in the picture, but the point was that screwdriver inspired me, and I held it in my hand and thought, what can I do with this? Well, I managed to take apart my Millennium Falcon back in the 80s, most of my Star Wars collection. I was able to dig a hole in my bedroom wall to try and get to the neighbour's house. And eventually, later on in life, I actually took down air traffic control in the Middle East. And they weren't too happy about that. Once you create that initial spark of curiosity, it starts triggering receptors in your brain. And those receptors are linked to the reward sensors, okay? Those reward sensors dish out dopamine. So we're going to start feeling good. If you think back to when you're learning something you were passionate about, you just wanted to keep on learning because your mind is expanding, it's becoming like a sponge. But when you have to learn something for work, for example, you're just not interested. You're like, oh, do I have to do this? And it's a chore, right? The trouble is, curiosity doesn't always come. It doesn't always follow us into adulthood. Okay, and that's because we live in a society that is actually driven by rules. The three fundamental prospects are: we go to school, you've got to get a job, and you've got to conform. And now this is where hackers come into their own. Because hackers, or people with a hacker mindset, they may have gone to school, they may get a job, but they certainly do not want to conform. To a hacker, or a person with a hacker mindset, essentially, they love the challenge, they love the chase. Nothing is impossible. They want to tear things apart, break them up, try something new, try things a different way. If we look at these three gentlemen here, I personally think these are the original hackers. Gentleman on the left, Alan Turing. He cracked the Enigma code in World War II. Steve Wozniak, in the middle. He was the creator of the Apple I. And of course, Bill Gates, creator and owner of Microsoft. These three gentlemen challenged convention. They actually went beyond the realms, and they were actually hackers in their own right. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for these guys challenging convention. And the trouble is, as a hacker, your curiosity grows, right? You're going to start wondering, how much can I get away with? And you go down, you eventually get to a point in the road where you're saying, am I ethical or am I not ethical? And you don't know which way to go. And of course, we want to stay on the ethical side, right? Because we're good guys at the end of the day. But the trouble is, this is a photograph taken at RSA conference this year, when companies like this are claiming to be the first anti-hacking software in the world. It's a bit too tempting not to be ethical, right? And that's when you just need to apply a little bit of intelligence. And this leads me on to the second point. It was Einstein who said, intelligence is the ability to change. This couldn't be more true in our organizations today, okay? As security professionals, it's our responsibility to protect the data of our clients. We need to be able to prevent cyber criminals from actually stealing our data. The hackers are the ones who are doing the good stuff. The cyber criminals are the bad guys. As Darren alluded to earlier, we're stuck in a perpetual loop because every time we have a vulnerability, the hackers will come in along and exploit it, and then we'll patch it. Another vulnerability pops up, we'll patch it, and we're just locked in this cat and mouse game. The trouble is, as Darren said as well, we are the weakest link. Humans are still the weakest link. Why is that? Because we've got a massive digital footprint. We are consumers of information. Our curiosity has got the better of us. We've been labeled the informivores of the society. We are probably not aware, well actually until recently when we started getting GDPR notifications through our inbox saying you don't actually need to follow us anymore, we're probably not aware of what digital footprint we've got out there. The work ratio. A hacker or a cyber criminal is not actually going to go to great lengths to get through your technology when they can come through us. You know, they're just going to go, do you know what, I'm going to see Bob down the road and see if he wants a coffee and actually try and give me a USB stick to plug in his network. Or I'm going to attach a malicious payload to an email. And we're too trusting. This is just beyond me. How many, show of hands, how many travel in on the train in the morning? Pretty much most of us. How many times have you seen someone sitting with a work laptop open, just getting on with their emails, thinking, wow, they're super diligent? Well, I was sat on a train recently, and my curiosity got the better of me. It's what I like to do. There was a chap next to me, he was on his laptop, and I just thought, just take a casual glance, see what he's doing. I'm not nosy, by the way, it's my job to understand, you know, how secure people are. And I just casually looked down, and the first thing I saw that he was head of an energy company, and I was like, wow, That was pretty revealing. Okay, just carry on, train's chugging away, and I just think, huh, he likes rowing. Ah, interesting. And I'm clocking this in my head thinking, okay, I'm building up a little picture here. Next thing I see, obviously I'm becoming addicted to this because I'm getting a good hit. I look down and he's got a rowing meeting on Saturday. Hold on, you live in Staines and that's near me. Oh yeah, okay, excellent. And in 10 minutes of sitting next to this guy, I'd worked out where he worked. He was head of the company, as I said. He was into rowing. He had a meet at a certain time near me. And I'm building up this picture of this chap next to me. And that's the problem. We're far too trusting in our ways. And if we actually look at what a hacker or a cyber criminal is going to do, the first thing they're going to do on any one of us to launch an attack is reconnaissance. Right? I was in the military. I specialized in reconnaissance. Hackers are doing the same thing. They're going to go out there and see what they can find about you guys and ladies. And the trouble is, because of these problems, it's far too easy. The reconnaissance they're going to do, there's actually 4 key types of intelligence that they'll gather. There's 2 I'm going to discuss here, but the other 2 are signals intelligence and geointelligence. And they're actually reserved for the sneaky beaky government types that we don't really pretend that not collecting our data. For this purpose, we're going to talk about OSINT and humanint. So open source intelligence is literally go on Google, see what you can find out about a company. You're going to look for the company name. You're going to look for company director. You're going to look for lists of people in the company. Who are the vendors? What sort of business do they do? What information are they holding? And once you've got that information, then you're going to look for, maybe not so too in depth, you're going to look at human intelligence. Now this is just beyond me, and this is where my passion lies, is people. I love people. I think we're all fascinating, but again, we're too trusting. Now human intelligence, or the art of social engineering, is probably the biggest attack that we're facing from cyber criminals at the moment. You know, as Darren was saying earlier, it's eased off a bit with the ransomware, like the malware attacks through emails, but now they're embedded documents with links inside, and it's still phishing that are getting us. And with human intelligence, they're going to actually try their best to get as much information out of you. You know, there's different ways they can do it. They can do it covertly, where it's done through the internet and you never see the person, or it's overtly. In our company, we have a training video where we sort of discuss a lady sort of going through a turnstile, and she's got coffee in her hand, and she's on the phone, and she's doing all this, and people let her through. And it was just literally that, because you want to be polite, you want to, oh yeah, I'm on the phone, I can't, you know. And then she just walks in, and then she just snoops around. It's a bit dodgy video, because she's like, oh yes, I'm in now. I'm really sneaky, aren't I? And you're thinking, come on, love, ease up. But basically, that's what they do. They target people, and people are too trusting. Hands up if any of you have actually socially engineered anyone. Go on, be honest. Wow. Obviously red teamers, pen testers, possibly, or no, just like me, a bit nosy and just fancy a challenge. Well, I didn't realize I socially engineered anyone until I went to Abu Dhabi. And my wife and I, my wife and I used to play this game. I was unaware of it until we got to the hotel, that the game she was playing was, there's a little box when you're booking your holiday, and it says, if you have any special requests, please fill them in. So, unbeknown to me, my wife would turn around and say, yes, actually, it's our wedding anniversary, and I would like you to, anything you can do for us would be grateful. And of course, we get to the check-in desk, and the receptionist goes, oh, happy anniversary. And I'm like, what? We got married 4 years ago. Oh, right, I've got you, happy anniversary. So we walk up to the hotel, they greet us, there's nothing special, you know, a bit of chocolate. We walk up to the room, and as I'm walking, there's a wet patch on the floor, and I'm like, what's that? And my curious nature, go down, touch it, and it feels wet, yeah. Oh, it was sick. And I was like, that stinks. We're in a posh hotel in Dubai, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? So what I did was, I was like called down, and I was a bit upset, you know, like, this isn't on, it's our wedding anniversary, you know. And they said, oh, we'll send someone up in a minute, sir, it's fine. And I thought, okay, fair enough. Up comes this chap, and he's like, okay, we'll try and do our best. And I was like, oh, really? It's not good enough, mate. Go and get your manager. And I was being polite about it. So he went to get his manager, and the next thing I saw was his manager walked in with an entourage of people. And he starts pointing and going, get this cleaned up, this is ridiculous. Hello, sir, sorry to bother you, my name is Kevin. And I was like, okay, nice one, Kevin. Went away, thought about it. So he dealt with the problem, we moved rooms and everything else. And afterwards I thought, let me try something. So I phoned down and said, yes, hi, it's Mr. Macpherson in room 203. Is it possible we could get some complimentary spa tickets? Oh, so we don't give out complimentary spa tickets, I'm afraid. Oh, well, you see, the thing is, Kevin said it was okay. The next thing, a little man came up and delivered the spa tickets to me, and I was like, that's the first time I realized I socially engineered anyone. I was like, this is all right, this isn't bad. But the point is, we're just using information we're gathering from other people to our own advantage. We think that social engineering is reserved for cyber criminals and hackers. Every single one of us in this room is capable of social engineering. Lawyers are capable of social engineering. Policemen, policewomen are capable of social engineering. They're using information to get something in return, well, to use it to their advantage. Hairdressers are the worst for it because they're just there cutting your hair. You think that you're chatting away, but they're taking it all in. And what you don't know is they're actually using that against you. You know, and they're saying, especially for the females in the audience, they'll say, okay, yep, I've done your colour, I've done your cut. Your regrowth rate's pretty bad. You're going to have to come back in maybe 2 weeks and get it redone. Another 80 quid down the pan. I know this because my wife's a hairdresser, so I'm not secret Vidal Sassoon or anything. But it's that whole thing. We're using information against each other. And the final topic I want to discuss is, it's a bit of a strange one, is acceptance. Kind of threw this one in for the deck. Anyone who knows anything about cyber criminals or hackers, they don't care if they're accepted. But that's not strictly true. They don't care if they're accepted in society. But the truth is, they want to be accepted in their own peer group. Right? You look at LulzSec, Anonymous, whoever it is, they're going around, they're like trying to get kudos. It's like a gang culture. You know, anyone who like sort of is familiar with gang culture, they will do whatever they can to be a part of that gang. Don't force yourself to fit where you don't belong. This couldn't be truer. Because when I was, 11, 12 years old, I moved down from Scotland to England. Now, anyone who understands the divide, this was not my favourite thing in the world. I was the only Scottish kid in school, and it was a bit crap, to be honest. You know, I was singled out. But the point was, I didn't feel like I fit in, so I changed my hair, changed my style, changed my taste in music, changed my football team. There was only 2 in Scotland, so that wasn't that hard. But it's just that whole development. Because I didn't feel like I fitted in, I wanted to change. And then when I left school, I did the same in the military. I didn't feel like I fit in. 14 years later, I left the military. All through my life, I've started to try and fit in. It just doesn't happen. You can't fit in where you don't belong. And I've realized I've just give up now, and I've started my own tribe, so if you want to join, give me a shout out at the end. But the point is, from a hacker's perspective, you're going to want to fit in somewhere. Yeah, we all want to be accepted. We all want to be sort of liked and not worshipped, but that's what they're going for, you know. I personally think that the hacker mentality is just so broad, we can't actually get our heads around the complexity, and you have to go into criminology to actually study it. This illustration here is purely to signify that we are all connected, regardless of how separate we think we are. We've all got our own little groups. You know, you've got your hacker culture in the bottom left corner, or bottom right for you guys and ladies. But the point is, we just want to be connected, you know? And that brings me to the whole purpose of the discussion today is we share 3 fundamental human desires with hackers. And that's curiosity. We're all naturally curious. The hackers are curious. Intelligence. We love information. We cannot get enough of it. And acceptance. We want to be accepted, right? Exactly like the hackers do. So I'll leave you with these final thoughts. was probably cutting it a bit early actually, but the final thoughts are, if you think about our organizations, in the security game, we are actually trying to protect our organizations from cyber criminals, not hackers. Hackers, like us, are the ones who are driving change in organizations. We're forcing them to change the way that they actually operate. We're making them upgrade their systems, change their policies. And that's why our organizations are lucky to have us, to be honest. I believe that we are all natural-born hackers because it's in our DNA. Thank you very much.